The big question with the castle kit is really how useful is this gonna be long term? Because right now, with it being new, I'm really excited about it. I've built like 3 different castles in the past couple of days, but realistically, I'm not gonna keep building this many castles all the time. I might build a castle occasionally, and I might use some of these windows and wallpapers in like some really old style library or museum or something. But for the most part, I like to build houses in The Sims. So I'm kind of curious to put this castle kit to the test and see if we can build just like a normal house with it. Anytime a new pack comes out, I like to do builds that are just the base game and that new pack to see how it works and how it fits into the game. I don't really know how effective that's gonna be with the castle pack. Couple problems with that today. Number one, the castle pack has no furniture. This pack is only build stuff, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm actually kind of glad they did that because it means that there is more build stuff, so you can actually do a full castle build with this pack. If they had added furniture, there'd be less windows, there wouldn't be as many trim pieces, and then I think that would be actually a detriment to the pack. But with this set of limited items, I don't really know how we're gonna be able to use this to just make a normal Sims house. These are weird, like no offense, these are a little weird. They're very, very fancy. So I'm gonna try base game, but we might have to go back on that and like reinstall the other packs if it doesn't end up working out. I feel like there's potential here for like some sort of cottage vibe. I actually think that these items would work really well with like cottage living, get together, even the vampires pack, realm of magic, like a lot of this stuff could work well for those other packs. It's like a cool add-on for those. But as far as like just the base game goes, I don't know how useful it'll be. You could build a castle with just the base game and this pack, but I don't know if you could build a normal house with just the base game and this pack. If we're gonna do this, we're gonna want to use these like very plain windows probably. Let's experiment a little bit here, okay? So we're thinking that there's probably gonna be some sort of dormer situation too. I'm going for like old British cottage. To be honest, I'm kind of going for like Henford on Bagley, except it's Willow Creek and I have just the base game. But that's like sort of the vibe that I'm picturing with this. I don't know if that's a good idea. Never mind. Sorry, false alarm on that roof shape. We are definitely going to need a chimney. This is gonna make a huge difference on the side. I also really want it to be on a foundation. I think that always kind of helps. And now I'm kind of wondering, maybe if it has like a sideways entry to the building, that might be kind of a nice touch. We could try and, oh geez, too much. I was gonna say we could try and curve the roof. I don't know, this is interesting. Those dormers are maybe a little bit too big. They also have to be too wide. If the dormers are not too wide, then it won't work because we have to have space for these windows, and that doesn't work because it's too small. Oh no. Unless, could we intentionally have the windows be clipping? Probably not, because that's terrible for the inside, right? Okay. Yikes. Well, we're gonna figure it out. I am very committed to making this work. I mean it when I say that. I wonder if I could curve this part just a bit. Maybe that's better. Okay, curvy roof seems like a fun touch. It's a little, I don't know, it's like a little pointy. Which is maybe not good. Oh, maybe it was better before. Just hold on, okay? Bear with me. We're gonna figure this out. It's gonna be so fine. I'm so not worried. Everything about it is gonna be totally and completely fine. It doesn't look fine right now, but just give me time. Oh, that's kind of clipping too, sorry. This is like classic lilsimsie house shape. I've done this exact shape a million times, and I'll probably do it a million times more than this. It does work though. Like, it's good for a reason. Surely we cannot use this stone stuff to get up to the front door. Like, that's gotta be too far, right? If I make it white, maybe it would be okay. Ugh, no, it won't be okay. I'm leaning towards an all black roof because that kind of matches the inside of the windows. So if we've got that roof, we've already got the windows matching a little bit nicer. Whoa. Okay, see, that's too much. That's too much. I unfortunately think that we have to do just like regular plain wood for this. That can't be good. Never mind. It's not gonna work. Their front door is not gonna work either. I can't use their doors. I just, like that, what is that? It's a castle. But I think it's too much for this. These windows are too much for this. Like, when you look at these on here, come on, that is so excessive. What if I did white stone across everything? Yikes. No. No, maybe it's too tall. It needs to be small for it to be like quaint cottage vibes. I think it being tall is really bad for it. I don't think that it works as well. Tall is good when it's a castle. I don't think that it works as well when it's a cottage. Oh my God, that is horrible. I wonder if we could let it be clipping and then cover it with like a planter box, and that way maybe you can't tell that it's clipping as much. I just need like a short window. I need kind of like, you know, these base game windows, like one of these that's short and skinny, or like this one that's short and skinny. I need something that shape, but from the castle pack. Oh no. This might be the one. This door. Okay, this one has Store the Bearded Trickster, and this has Edgar the Generous. We could get that door as like our little cottage entry. I think my best bet is to stick to smaller windows. I guess I could use those two together, but for the most part with this build, I think we would probably benefit from the windows being like slightly on the smaller side. Again, we're going for like old individual cottage house. I think if we do it this way, smaller like this, I could probably still use the stone column and the stone walkway. Oh, ugh. Oh my God. It's just so dramatic. Like you can't use that, Kayla. You can't. Let's try a plain trim. Hold on. Let me put this thing here because we could always use like this trim instead. And that is better. That makes more sense. That fits with our cottage that we're going for. I don't understand why the stuff from the castle kit doesn't show up in this like wall sculpture section outside. I think it comes in this section, the indoor wall decorations, which seems like an oversight on their part, but it's okay. No offense, but they often do a pretty bad job of categorizing items in this game. They make a lot of oversights in that way. Okay, so that's kind of how the exterior of the cottage is looking. And that screams cottage to me. Oh, we forgot to paint the exterior. I didn't even paint the back. Oops. Sorry. I'm leaning towards something relatively plain in the back, kind of just simple like this. I might add dormers depending on how the upstairs gets laid out. I'm not sure yet. And then back here, I'm wondering if maybe like this little fence will be okay. I don't know. This is the right color. It's a little bit smaller than I would normally go for. Like that's not my usual pick, but maybe that's a good thing. Okay, so that's kind of what the back looks like right now. I think that's decent enough. Let's think about the floor plan for a second. So I'm picturing in here probably a lot of like dark wood colors on the inside. We're also probably gonna want like a really tight entryway hallway space. So right now I'm thinking that this big area could be the living room because we could do a huge fireplace in front of it. Oh, I'm out of money. We are trying to have a budget for this house, by the way. That wasn't my goal. I don't care about money right now. I mostly just care about it looking good. Okay, well, I'd probably try and separate it kind of like this. I know that's like way down the hallway and that's not ideal, but this way it's, I don't know, it's centered. I don't know if that's better though. Well, okay, let's just do it like that. So there's a little entryway. You can go to the left into the living room. Maybe if you come down to the end of this area, that's how you get into the bathroom. So we'll have like a little bathroom door right here. And then maybe this becomes an office, like a small office library situation. Because we could do bookshelves on either side. Hold on, gotta type a ridiculously long cheat to get into there. But then we could do like some, I don't know, something like these bookshelves on either side. And then like a desk in the middle as the library. This actually makes the upstairs pretty good. That works out surprisingly well because we could fit 2 bedrooms up here really easily. I'm interested in the idea of trying to open this to the downstairs. I'm gonna have to refix all of the roof clipping. It's specifically just this part that I have to go through and change. I basically have to put this roof in like 3 parts so it surrounds that and doesn't clip at all. The window's clipping a tiny bit, but don't worry about that part. And then I could take this and draw a fence here and open that to the downstairs. And that I genuinely think is kind of cool. I even like how it has the cool stone trim right there because that gives us a place to have a light hanging in the entryway. I'll probably pick a different light, but obviously it's kind of tight up here in the hallway, but I think that's okay. Like you don't need a lot of walking space. I just need access to the 2 bedrooms. I'm thinking that right here, this becomes a big formal dining room. So we can get like a nice big table in there. Last, we just need a kitchen. And I'm kind of interested in using some big archways. I realize this becomes like a plain, boring, lost hallway, but I'm okay with that. I'm trying to decide about the door situation. I don't know if I should do like plain black because that matches the outside better. I don't really know. I guess that matches the front door and it's a nice double door. It does mean there's no windows in the kitchen, which is kind of sad. But basically what I'm kind of envisioning here is that the kitchen might go like this. We could potentially have the smallest window from the castle pack here in the kitchen. That's just on that tiny sidewall, so that's probably not too disruptive. That would just be a door in into, I guess, like a third bedroom. There could be like a small nursery or something downstairs. Plus, that makes it easier for you if you are playing with toddlers or something because they don't have to go up and down the stairs. This living room is enormous. It probably does not need to be as big as it is. If I wanted to, I could maybe like steal some space and get an extra bathroom, but I don't know. I'm gonna furnish this in a minute. I wanna think a little bit more about the outside of the house quick. I think we would benefit from some windows on either side of the fireplace like this. And then I'll use this cool castle walkway to get up to the front door. Do I use castle again there? I don't know. I don't really know. I might make their yard quite small and have a lot of it be patio. It is only the base game, so we have to keep that in mind. Like, we don't really have that many things that we can use outside. We might have some cool stuff like this to use for the exterior of the building, but we don't have any furniture, so we're stuck with what we've got right now. I do like the red flowers a lot. I think the red flowers up against this color of stone look really nice, and I'm gonna try to get some pretty landscaping going over here. Uh-oh, my chimney is in a very unfortunate place. Okay, something kind of like that for the main bushes. This base game mailbox actually works really well with this building too, so that's kind of lucky. Yeah, I don't normally go for this tree, so we could try to fill that in the corners of the lot a bit more. Oh no, I think that part of the issue here is that everything is so fancy. The stone, everything is just so fancy. I'm almost trying to like tone it down. I want it to be less fancy. I can't really use these rocks either because they're not the same color. I'm hoping that putting some planter boxes here and this little garden space will help tone it down. I wonder if I could maybe use like an extra terrain paint texture too. Just do some mixing and matching to also maybe help tone it down just a little bit. I put this little base game one. It's only beige, but I think that little base game fence hopefully matches well enough. It's only a cottage. They can have stuff like a garden hose. It's not a castle. No one fancy lives here. It's just a normal house. In my head, it's like someone's grandma lives here and they've lived here for many, many, many years. That's kind of who I'm building this for. Okay, I don't know who grandma is, but apparently she really enjoys gardening because I'm putting garden pots like everywhere on her patio. Do any of these gates make sense potentially for the backyard? I don't know. It just seems like such a random choice. I know that this one kind of, whoa, yikes. That matches the stone. Well, maybe that's okay. We can have a nice big gate right there. It does help to fill in the backyard a little bit more. And then we can get some simple stuff like, I don't know, a welcome mat. A welcome mat would go a long way. Look at that door. That is so dramatic with the lion. I've been using these little stones a lot. They're like little, I don't know, broken pieces of stone or something. I've been putting those around my builds a bunch recently. I feel like it just helps. It's kind of nice. Maybe Granny could have a gnome. The gnome is probably good too because it helps with the color scheme. It brings in some more of the red. Maybe she has a small collection of gnomes. Do you think she has a naked gnome? I never know if the naked gnome is too much. I always think, oh, I should put the naked gnome down. And then I'm like, what is that? Do we want to have a naked gnome in our front yard? Like, is that bad? I don't know. Okay, the terrain paint helps too. It helps to make everything seem a bit more casual and like blend in a little bit better. Put it underneath all the trees and everything. Okay, so here's what the exterior of the little cottage looks like. I might get some of this terrain paint too. Oh, I put way too much terrain paint right there. What was I doing? Go away. But I like these little flowers. I like to put them just kind of in some of the open spaces to like fill in some of the empty parts of the lot. It's very fancy, but I like it enough. For what it is, it's good. We'll try and make the inside very fancy too to fit the vibes. For example, very fancy wood flooring, I think is a necessity in here. We can do like that kind of fancy wood floor in the entrance and then maybe a different kind elsewhere, unless we wanted to put the same fancy wood floor everywhere. Cause that, I mean, it is kind of cool. I do kind of like it. I don't normally use it because it's like too fancy for me, but maybe that's what makes it fun. I don't normally use these either. That doesn't even fit. Oops, sorry. Okay, let's use these horrendous curtains. This house seems to have a lot of red going on. I'm still not 100% sure if that's what I want. I don't know if I like that or not, but we'll see. It's like lots of red and gold happening, and it's not really screaming cottage either, so that's not so good. I'm not super attached to the color of the curtains. I might end up changing them. The problem is there's just not that many options. Like the base game really doesn't have too many different colors of things. I end up using this darker green swatch a lot. That's probably my most used variant of this, but this is just less offensive to me. This color scheme. I just prefer how this looks a lot more. Should I use the tile in the bathroom and in the kitchen? I hadn't really considered that as a possibility. It's kind of a lot. Unclear if it's a lot in a good way or a bad way. I can't use the counters that have the tile on it though if I do that. It's too much. There's way too many little diamonds if I do it that way. They could probably use the more expensive base game cabinet though. And I might go for like really expensive appliances. I don't really have any interest in using the old school ones because I'm picturing this house as being renovated. Like in my head, yes, this house is old, but it hasn't been like 200 years since they last updated the kitchen appliances, right? Like that would just be kind of weird. Yes, it was built a long time ago, but like people still live here and live in the house and improve upon things over time. We've got like modern plumbing. I'm trying to decide if they should have paper towels out on their kitchen counter or not. These people are like fancy, you know? They live in basically a castle cottage. But also, I still want it to be like a normal house, and having things like paper towels helps to make it seem more like a normal house. So I think I might do that. They can have a little cake on their counter. I like that idea. I'm also kind of interested in maybe trying to put some shelves on this wall. Maybe just like 2 open shelving type of things. We need stuff like that, just like little things that will help the kitchen seem more lived in. I might also give them like maybe a coffee maker. So with this, they should be able to cook on this counter still, and that will hopefully be enough. I don't know what to do on the walls, so I'm gonna ignore that for a second and just come back to it. I don't really want to think about it yet because it's stressing me out. Everything that I want to use is like covered in gold accents, but there's not golds for this shower, so I don't really know what's best. I think I might do this with like the silvery colors for in here and like a really expensive painting. This house is on its way to being one of the most expensive things I have ever built. At least most expensive tiny house I have ever built. It's only 3 bedrooms. Basically only a 1-story house. Obviously it has a 2nd floor, but the 2nd floor is small. Okay, so for base game wallpapers, I often like to use this one because it has like the stone at the bottom. I don't know if that's good for in here though, because the stone doesn't really match. I will say that this house can definitely benefit from some like fancy wallpaper. We could totally use some really, really nice wallpapers. Something like this just really sells it. I don't really want to use that in the bathroom and the kitchen though. I'm tempted to do all wood in the study. Oh, hate these windows. Okay, scoot them over. With it being all wood, it does make the stone of the windowsill stand out a bit more than I would like it to, but that's okay. This room is now kind of giving like Jeffrey Landgraab's office, and not necessarily in a good way. It's kind of scary in here. I don't know if I like it. This place is really not my personal vibe. We have to commit. We've come this far. We are making a very, very fancy house. I wonder if that tile will work in the bathroom. I don't really like it, but it might be better if it goes back to being gold. Even if this thing is not gold, we can make everything else gold because the warmer tones match the house better. Should we do wood paneling for the whole entryway too? That is scary. It's a bit much, possibly a bit much in a good way. I unfortunately cannot really say for sure yet. It depends. Okay, I think I need wall sconces, but I'm scared if I put it there, you can't access the bathroom. So maybe I could just have sconces on either side of the door. Oh no, or no door, apparently. Oh no, the window situation in the front, very bad. I may have to use just one window. Oh, but that's no fun. Oh no. I know I already used these bookshelves in the library, but I kind of want to put them in the dining room too, just because they're so skinny. It fits nicely behind the table. What I would like to do is have like one of those china cabinets in here, but I'm worried about space because it's hard for your Sims to walk around that. It's like way bigger. Maybe it would be better if I had the bookshelves over here. Then I could still have the china cabinet of my dreams, and maybe we can even still have 2 windows. Okay, that actually seems really kind of cozy and nice. That's a pretty dining room. The windows are pretty. I wish that they weren't so stone, you know? It doesn't really match, but again, that's the challenge. We've committed, we must use them. I think if you were trying to build an actual castle with this kit, this furniture set would actually kind of work nicely in like a formal living room of some castle. Like you could kind of try and make this pass as being really old in that way if you needed to. The Sims 4 actually has a pretty decent amount of old seeming things. Actually more old seeming things than you might expect in the base game, which is kind of funny to think about. Okay, I'm doing chess. I think they should have a chess table in here in front of the windows. Really trying to channel Granny here and think about what she would have in her building. I'm actually almost kind of channeling the Goth family right now and like the kind of stuff that they put in their house, because they have all kinds of like really really fancy stuff in there. So I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about the Goth family and their fancy house as I am doing this. Ooh, fancy boat. See? I kind of forgot that thing existed. Also, I realize that I have put what is potentially an excessive amount of bookshelves in this house, but I'm kind of just channeling my dreams, you know? I want that many built-in bookshelves, so I'm giving it to my Sims. I don't know what a person would put over here in this corner. I don't know. I'm kind of looking at other skill building items and trying to see what might fit, but the answer is probably none of them. Piano's not a bad idea, but it is for this house. If we had other packs, I might use the upright piano from like Growing Together or Horse Ranch, but we don't have those, so we're making do. Treasure chest? Random divider? I never used that thing. Honestly, random divider might be the way, because it takes up space, and then maybe they use that. Maybe because they don't have a door into their office, they pull this over and use it to like close the room when they're trying to do a work call. I don't, that's a stretch. I'm sorry. I'm throwing out ideas, okay? They might do that. They could, that's possible. Trying to get some sconces in here as well, because it's a little bit dark, so I think having some decorative sconces will help. I don't like the kitchen tile. I'm considering putting tile everywhere in here. There's just not enough windows. I know I keep going back and forth on this door thing, but I'd like to have a door that has windows in it. Maybe I could use the sliding door. That has a little bit of window in it. It looks weird though. It doesn't match the other windows. And I can't put a window here because I have my shelves. Oh well, they can have a dark kitchen. It's an old house. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices in an old house. Okay, so last we just have 3 bedrooms to furnish. I was picturing this one being like a toddler's bedroom. We kind of talked about that. And then I'll probably have this upstairs room be a kid's bedroom, and then we'll do the primary bedroom in this one. I think stripey is cute for the toddler thing that I'm trying to achieve here. I also think that these curtains are ridiculous for a tiny little room like this, but it's okay. The kid can have Blarfy. Maybe they could have like, oh, you know what we could do? Maybe I should put a high chair in this. Maybe I should put a high chair in the dining room. We could just like put it off in the corner, because then they could drag it up for the toddler when they need it. Is that weird in a house this fancy and formal? No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't know. Fancy people have kids too, obviously. I just don't know what fancy people do with their kids. I can't imagine what their houses would be like if they've got like little ones running around. I think I shall put a little tiny toddler potty in the corner right there. They can use that. And then maybe they have a really big dollhouse, because this dollhouse kind of matches the room. It also is a literal castle, so considering this whole thing is based on the castle pack, I feel like this is probably the exact right time to use this. And maybe I'll put some toys out in front of it so they can play with them. And there, maybe that's the little toddler room downstairs. Upstairs, I made this kids' room pink, and I think I'm gonna put 2 beds in here. Let me do some money cheats, because we're not trying to have a budget, like I said. I'm just trying to make it work. This bed comes in nice pink floral pattern, and maybe, uh-oh, never mind. It can't go there because it blocks the door, so false alarm. Maybe their 2 beds go on this wall, and then we use the like really fancy, expensive furniture. I put that in the toddler's room too. This like really nice dresser. We just need more rugs in the base game. I've used like literally every base game rug so many times now. It's just been many, many, many years of building base game stuff. So we've kind of gone through all of it at this point. You know what's scary? There is like a magenta color on this. If I wanted to use it, we could. We could go like magenta. I just don't, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea is the problem. That's kind of that hot pink color. Oh wait, maybe the big dollhouse. I'll just use the castle dollhouse again. I mean, like I was saying a minute ago, it is the castle pack. There's a time to use this giant ridiculous dollhouse twice. It would be now. This is in fact the exact time to do that. These look terrible. The chalk things on this wall. There's really not enough fancy stuff. Oh, this would have been pretty somewhere. Maybe I'll use that up here, because I used the same thing multiple times already. Swap that. I don't know who that is, but they can be on the wall too. Okay, that's the kids' room. And then we have the primary bedroom last. I should probably use like the most expensive bed, right? It does actually come in some nice colors, and I never use this bed. It is like very rare that I ever use this bed. It's just too expensive. Like most of my Sims can't afford it. And I'm usually trying to build relatively affordable Sims houses. Emphasis on relatively, okay? I realize that, you know, most of my Sims houses end up being really expensive, like this one. But I do usually like to at least try to like pretend that someone could maybe really live here. This one is maybe a little bit too far gone, if I'm being honest. We might have, sorry, not we. I am the problem, not you. You're not involved in this. But I have definitely put slightly too pricey things in here to the point where it's probably not really functional anymore. But that's okay. This room's got a nice little reading chair. It's got a flower on the table. In total, you could sleep like 5 Sims in this house. It is only 1 bathroom and the kitchen is very dark. But like I was saying earlier also, I don't think that that's bad for a house like this. It's meant to be old. So we're, you know, doing some old things like having not ideal layouts and having some dark rooms and stuff like that. But this is the finished product. I think that someone very fancy has lived here for a very long time. And I did the absolute best that I could considering I only had the base game and the castle pack. So here's what it looks like. On the outside, we have this kind of cute little cottage vibe with some red floral accents. In the backyard, we've got a nice patio space. We have a lot of things out here like a chess table and a lot of planter boxes for your Sims to use. On the inside, there's like a very formal little entryway hallway. This takes you to the only bathroom in the house. And if you go to the left, you can get into the fancy living room and also the little fancy study office space. And if you go to the right, you enter straight into the dining room. And you can also take this hallway into the kitchen and the little toddler room. This is the finished kitchen. We've got some cute clutter in here. It's functional. It's got some new appliances. And then upstairs, we've got another tiny hallway and 1 small kid's bedroom for 2 kids to sleep in. And then the primary bedroom. And that, my friends, is my giant base game castle house. Normal house with the castle pack. I don't even know what to call this. Like castle cottage? 3 bed, 1 bath. It is up on the gallery now if you want to download it. It does cost 157,000 simoleons. So I don't know if you do want to download it, but if you would like to, you can. It does use just the base game and the castle estate pack. So if you have those, you could use it. And I think I've realized now from trying all of this stuff, most of it is really, really not usable for your average build. Like this thing, this llama thing, we can't. Where are you gonna put that? Come on. This is like a crest. That maybe could work in like libraries and museums and university buildings, but not in your average everyday suburban Willow Creek house. Even the fences are so castle-y, and they're really good for building castles. It's just not the most effective for building a normal place. I think that the things that are most normal and usable from this are definitely the stairs and the flooring. The wallpaper also could be super useful. It's just the rest of it is so fancy. Like this is so castle-y that it's just hard to use that for a normal house. A church maybe if you're trying to build something like that, but clearly this pack is not meant for people that just want to do normal builds. If you like to build really cool, creative, big things and castles, then it's more so for you, but yeah, this is not meant to appeal to the masses for sure. Let me know in the comments if you liked this video. I tried my best. I'm still not obsessed with the exterior of this, but I did what I could with what I had. And on that note, I'm gonna end this video right here. If you enjoyed this, I play The Sims all the time over on my Twitch channel, but actually today I'm playing Among Us on my Twitch channel, which we do like once a month with some other Simmers. I'll link my Twitch stream down below if you want to come by and say hello. Otherwise, rest of the week, all Sims all the time pretty much. And I am going to catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. The windows are beautiful. They're so beautiful. It's just so hard to use them. Like, how am I gonna fit that gated archway here, you know? It's not gonna work in a normal build.